$WARD nigga. NAYIMED.
Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're returning. My name is Nayim. I am your host. Thank you to the fleet for the warm reception. I can always count on y'all to hold me up. You know I love and appreciate y'all past the point of no return. Now let's play some catch up. Disclaimer. Let's see what our disclaimer today is gonna be. People who cannot think and respond objectively, find something else to do. Meet hackers. Please, this is not the place for you. And idol worshipers, you know what you need to do. Leave the channel. Not the place for any of you guys. So, Drake is in the middle of a very interesting situation. It's him versus Metro Boomin versus Future versus Kendrick Lamar versus J. Cole, now versus Rick Ross. Those are the main ones that, and Top Dog. But I guess you can include that with Kendrick. Though that's the main situation, and all those are individual situations. This is absolutely a rap beef, and personally, I think it's just a rap beef for attention. But it's some very interesting situations that's brewing and going on in the middle of these, and let's just talk about maybe three of them. The first one I want to talk about is why he will not actually go hard at Future, and that's why he's going at Metro Boomin so hard. So we know that Drake is the person that people like to get online and lie about what Drake actually is in music. Drake is not gonna be attaching himself to anything that's not already hot. Everybody's trying to say that, oh, Drake gave these people their biggest hits and Drake made them a star. No, these people was already hot before Drake got over there, and Drake goes to them to get credibility, and they go to Drake to get crossover and try to appeal to different audiences, because that I'm gonna save that second part for the second part that we talk about when we talk about biracial musicians or biracial rappers in particular, because it's not a musician problem, it's a rap problem. So he's not going to go at Future because he can't win against Future. I don't care what anybody thinks about what, oh, he gonna beat and wash Future every time. Future's only big because of Drake. That's not true. Future was a street legend by the time most people heard about him. People don't even remember a time where Rocco was way bigger than what Future was. People don't even remember Future from the Dungeon Family. I remember that. But people don't, these casual listeners of music and these casual rap fans, they don't even know what most of this stuff is. Most of y'all probably know, but most of these people don't even have a clue about any of these people's past before they made it to being on the radio, and then, back in the day, being on TV and being on remixes and stuff. People don't even know about the DVD era, how big that was. Like, they'll think, oh, this person, you only got this because of it. Like, no. Future was already somebody by the time Drake got to him. Future goes over to Drake. Well, Future had radio songs and stuff before Drake even came in the picture. This is what I'm saying. All these people already had the appeal. It's just, if we link up, it becomes a superpower, and we can go off and we can go do more of these things, and they can appeal. Drake can use them to appeal to more black and street audiences, or urban, and people who listen to people who are actual fans of musicians and actual fans of rap, and they can use Drake to appeal to all of these other people that are just casual people, just passing by, listening every now and then. They cut it on. If it come on, they won't cut it off. The thing with Future, though, that's going to be different than all of these other people. See, Drake is playing this online game right now. He's playing this game where I'm going to out-internet you. And I'm going to throw this little nugget in there. I think he's doing all of this to impress Sexy Red, to try to, appeal to whatever she's into. Because we know that whatever woman he gets around, he absorbs her personality. It's never the other way around. They don't try to be more like him. He wants to be more like the girls that he's running around with at the time. See Rihanna, Serena Williams, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, what's her name? Georgia Smith. Pick a girl, any girl, any girl he's running around with at the time, he's trying to be like her. So he can out-internet Rick Ross, maybe. Probably really not Rick Ross, but he's going to out-internet J. Cole. He's going to out-internet Kendrick. He's gonna out internet Top Dog. He's gonna out internet Metro. He's going to have the losers on his side, or the casual. We'll just call them casual rap fans because they're not all losers. Most of them are, but he's gonna out. He's gonna win the popular vote every time against everybody except Future. And the reason why he's never going to win the popular vote against Future is because if you stick these two people beside each other, if you look at Future and you look at Drake and you stick them beside each other, one of these people is really perceived as a real nigga and one of them is not. I'm pretty sure you by now you already know who's who. Drake is not perceived as a real nigga when it comes to music, not even to casual fans. Even though Future, if you listen to Future's music, because see, a lot of these, this is a war of the casual rap fan. This is not really a rap war. This is why J. Cole jumped out the beef, because this isn't a rap war anymore. This is a casual fan battle. This is the war of who can stir up the most drama in the casual sector. This isn't about bars or nothing, because Drake has Lil Yachty writing his music right now. So, and that is 100%. Go look at that song. Go listen to the song, that Jumbotron song. That is 100% Lil Yachty, and Lil Yachty got that style. Really, he pulled a lot of that style from the Detroit sector. But we're gonna talk about that on Paranormal Pentivity probably tomorrow. The thing is, this, yeah, like I said, this is a casual rap. This is the casual of the casual fans. Drake standing beside Future, even casual people know that even though Future is on his songs talking about tricking, buying the girl all these bags, spending all their money on her, fuck my ex and all this stuff, I want my bitch back, doing all the simping and tricking and all that crazy stuff that Future be talking about on his music, he's still perceived as a real nigga compared to really most everybody he can stand by. And really, when you get to the root of that beef, it's probably about a woman. I can 9 out of 10 guarantee you it's about some random bitch somewhere. Because it's not. That's why he can't attack Future, because it's nothing that you can use. Yeah, you might make better songs, or you chart more, you sell more, and you do all of that. And that's why people want to come into these beefs and do the ad populum thing. They want to, if we talk about having a real problem with each other, and like he's doing with Rick Ross, saying, "Oh, my house has cost more than yours. I have more money than you have. I've done more than you. You've got a influencer starter kit situation going on for you. I've done more." People bring ad populum into the situation that doesn't warrant ad populum because they don't have nothing to win with. They're not going to be able to. If we're talking about the facts are not going to lean in their favor. So they're going to pull something from obscurity that's got to do with numbers to lean in their favor. You can do that with Future if you want to, but at the end of the day, everybody knows that if you really think about this, one of these people is perceived as real and one of these people is perceived as a groupie. This is why Future said, "You really my biggest fan." Because despite if we just went off lyrics, Future is just as goofy as Drake is. If we're just listening to what they're saying, but the way one of these people carry themselves is not like the other person. So you can play that game with all these other people. Oh, J. Cole jumped out the beef. He apologizing at my festival. Da 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 da. All this stuff. And okay, so you can make a claim, and everybody can come out here and say a person apologizing and getting out the beef is goofy. Okay, you can have your personal opinion about that. Kendrick Lamar, alleged AI, and I told y'all about that AI. Alleged AI comes out and it's a fiasco because nobody knows if it's real or whatever. You're fighting at Metro Boomin because you can't fight at Future. And Metro Boomin never said he was a street nigga. Metro Boomin never said he was tough. Metro Boomin was also young as hell. Metro Boomin is, it's a real slimy, ridiculous thing when you get clowned for doing what you do. Oh, shut up and make some drums. That's what the producer is doing. I'm putting the album together. I'm putting this stuff together. The thing is, You not you you can go at Rick Ross because y'all gonna see who can talk the most shit. It's not a real serious situation. You're not about to out talk Rick Ross. The problem with you, I'm gonna wrap this up because we gotta lean into this second thing, which is really the most important thing to me, is you need all of these people for credibility. They don't necessarily need you to get casual fans, but it helps. And it'll get them there faster. People want to say, "Oh, it's because he's Jewish," and it's just no. Like this is doesn't have nothing to do with that. It's the fact that, oh, the Kanye West beef is old and stale, but like all of the you can't go against Future because you can't win that. Because you are a fraud, you are a groupie, you are a hoe standing next to somebody like that. Because this is a certified street legend when it comes to music. You are not. It doesn't matter if you run around with Jay Prince. It don't matter if you running around with Birdman and Wayne and BG. You can stand beside whoever you want to. You will never be perceived as that. And this leads me into this second thing. We give credit over here. We don't take people's talking points and act like that they're our own. And we don't take people's talking points really, period. But same old gossip reheated. Katrina Gibbs is the first person that say that Drake is a white man. And I need to break this down, this specific part, so you can understand why that first part matters so much and why he can't win against Future. And it's okay to kind of play with them other people. When it comes to being a biracial rapper, there's really only three kind of biracial rappers. The first kind is Logic. Logic is a person who is biracial. He's mixed. He has a black father and a white mother. He can pass for white. And the music that he makes culturally, he leaned more into his white side. I don't care what people say or know. A person come out and try to do something else. We're talking about a person who is white passing that leans into that white stuff, i.e., the Young Sinatra series. Then you have people like Drake, who you're biracial, but you are allowed to pick a side of wherever you want to go. Because, see, you can pick whatever side you want to pick based on what is lucrative for you at the moment. So when you need to go to Memphis and snatch a Block Boy JB and appeal, you can do that. When you need to go to Atlanta and get a Future, you can do that. When Metro Boomin is actually giving you beats because your producer in Canada stinks, you can do that. You can lean into Rick Ross and play with the streets and then go and get on a pop song and then go be with Justin Bieber. You can lean into all that when you want to, but you can also go back over to, and Justin Bieber does not count as like non-urban music because he came from Usher. He came through the Ushers and the Ludacris and all of that situation, and all of his music is hip hop R&B. You can lean back over into your white side when you need to. I.e., every time you take a picture with somebody, it's a non-black person. Or it's some black person who just got out of jail that is extorting you in Canada. You can lean into, oh, we're selling this over here, and we're gambling, and we're doing all of this, and you're doing all of that. And I forgot to mention that you did not respond to Pusha T. That's something for another time. You can play both sides if you need to, because you can cut it on and cut it off when you need. You can go be over there and be with them and do whatever you can with your mama side, or you can go over here and people is just looking like, oh, well, he has a black father, it's cool. Oh, he has a white mother, it's cool. So you can do that. And then you have the third and final category of biracial rapper, that is a J. Cole. J. Cole does not have the luxury of identifying as white. It's too much nigga there for him to identify as white. He doesn't come from a situation where he has the luxury of being able to play into his white side, even though he has a white mother. It's the same thing with Lotto is in that category with the J. Cole. You don't get the luxury of saying, I'm half white, I'm whatever half, I'm this, I'm that. We see you, you look like a nigga, you are a nigga. We don't want to hear about your white mama. We don't want to hear about none of that. And the lifestyle that you live accompanied with you being a biracial that is a black leaning biracial, your growing up, your youth, all of your experiences, even your experience in the music industry was the black experience. You didn't get the Drake experience in the music where we can use you to play both sides. You can play. You don't get to play both sides when you're a J. Cole. You don't get to play both sides when you're a Lotto. You don't get to say that you this and you that. Like you can play like, oh, I'm a Jamaican and I'm Jamaican and Trinidadian nigga, still nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have Logic, you have Drake, and you have J. Cole. These are the categories of rappers. It doesn't apply to any other genre because they don't deal with that. No other genre deals with that. It's only this one. And why this is important is Logic is pushed over here. J. Cole is pushed over here. We know where they stand. We know what they are. It is what it is. When you have a person that's in the middle, like Drake, people don't understand that the reason that Rick Ross, and the point of this section is he's terrified of being labeled as a white boy. And the reason that he's terrified of being labeled as a white boy, because, okay, let's pause right here. The situation was him and Rick Ross is going back and forth, joking, ha ha, laugh, whatever. Rick Ross puts out the song Champagne Dreams and is like, oh, you was a white boy. You wanted to hang out with the party. You know, you had to tell your mommy on me. Drake gets in his inbox again, flipping back and forth, playing both sides, saying, oh, he's a racist because he said I had a BBL and a nose job. The reason that you're terrified as Drake as being labeled a white boy is because you can buy everything you want to in this business except you can't really buy the people. You can't really buy being culturally sound. I would argue that Drake doesn't really have black fans like that. Like most Drake fans are not fans of black people or fans of black culture. They're fans of Drake. It's just kind of like me. I am not dedicated to a basketball team. I don't care for sports, but there are certain players that I do like. I'm a casual fan of basketball players. I don't care about your team. I don't know the stats. I don't know anything about it. I don't know the history. Those are Drake fans. Drake fans are casual fans of music. Most of his fans are casual fans of music. They're not fans of the culture. The problem is when you get labeled a white boy, the shit that white boys have to go through in this music industry. White boys typically have to fight harder to be accepted, which most of them don't get accepted. The only ones that people actually kind of, the only ones that really got accepted were Mac Miller, Eminem, and Eminem is kind of on the fence, but Mac Miller, Eminem, and Paul Wall. There is no other white boy rapper that people really actually cared about. This is why we had situations like Russ being the best, putting up the best numbers, doing the best, 100% everything a person would dream of, and got culturally rejected because you don't come from this culture. This is why all this stuff ties into each other. This is why looking the part and hanging with the rappers was so important for Drake, because he's trying to get cultural acceptance so he can lean into that. The problem is you can't fake it. And the minute you can't hide for long either, and you cannot fake it. So being labeled as a white boy means that this whole section of people is going to reject you because we ain't trying to hear it. They not trying to hear it. Even the white boys ain't really trying to hear that. You might be able to be a niche type of person, but when they say who the best, they're not bringing you up. When they riding around listening, they might be, again, casual listeners, but they're not listening. Culture is the one thing that matters in this genre, because you can be terrible. You can be horrible, and people will give you chance after chance after chance. And there's a marketing factor to you when you represent a piece of the culture that is relevant to whoever you're standing in front of. When you are, let's just say, I'm trying to figure out somebody. I'm gonna just use Sexy Red because it's the easiest one. Sexy Red, I always said she made music for white boys, but Sexy Red represents a piece of the culture that even if we don't like it and don't agree with it, it exists. She represents that hood rat demographic, that demographic of people that represent that lifestyle, that real prostitution lifestyle, not that fake stuff, not that whatever. She got real details to give you. Drake has to go stand next to somebody to tell you about the black experience in music. I don't need Sexy Red don't have to stand beside nobody to tell me the prostitute experience in music, because that's what it is. And not saying that being a biracial person is, there's nothing wrong with it, I guess, but like, when you don't pick a side is the problem. We know what Logic is and we know what J. Cole stand. We don't know what Drake stand, but we do because we see what your actions are. This is why you was running and hiding and you didn't have nothing to say about Pusha T, because he ripped the nonsense off of you and exposed the fact that you are a white man. For lack of a better terms, when you go listen to the lyrics of the story of a D-Don, he exposed the fact that you was raised by your mama, you hated yourself, you was confused about your race, you was confused about what your culture was, you grew up as that. You grew up over there on that side, but you want to come over here and hang with the niggas. And this is why you're terrified to be labeled as a white boy, because Rick Ross is bringing that up. So it doesn't matter how many people you pay to expose that this Rick Ross was flogged, J. Cole is soft, Kendrick Lamar is a hoe, Metro Boomin is a hoe nigga. And it's really weird to me, a hoe ass nigga calling other niggas hoe ass niggas, but whatever. It doesn't matter about any of that, because those are people who, they don't have to beg and they don't have to fake to be a part of a culture that they don't have a choice but to be a part of it anyway. You don't get to pick. Like, you can say, oh, you can be whatever and you can expose different sides of yourself, but everybody's already going to put them as a part of that just because that's just how we've been conditioned to do. They don't have the luxury of switching and being like, I'm just like the white man. No, you're not. I don't care. You know, we can be over here and we know what the truth is. And it's just like, we know a lot of these people, they all got the same mindset. They all do the same shit. They all on the same island or whatever. But visually, like I said, remember, this is a war of the casual fan. This is not a war for people that are deep into the culture in the trenches. He has no stake in this culture at all. And I'm going to throw this in there. The minute that you start allowing other people to do all the work for you, because I see a lot of these dudes, and I ain't gonna say because it's a real famous producer from out here. Fuck it. The nigga, one of them niggas from Internet Money, he's from out here in Richmond. He gonna say, oh, other people of cultures don't have the problem of having everybody else put together for the team and da 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 da. Why is it only in rap? You want to know why it's only in rap? It's because rapping is a skill that requires you to know how to write. There is no other genre that requires you to know how to write. Rap is that skill. Singing does not require you to know how to write. Singing should require you to know how to sing, but it does not. There is no requirement for you to know how to write. Country, there's no requirement for you to know how to write. Rock, indie, whatever genre you want to pull, you don't need to know how to write to do those genres. Rap, you need to know how to write. That is the first part of rap music, is knowing how to write. Because rap is the only genre that, which all music is really this, but rap is 100% that genre that is from experience, lived experience. So if you are rapping about things that is not your life, you are rapping about things that you did not go through. You're even rapping about things that if you're not even rapping about stuff that you've seen, what am I going to listen to your music for? I'm not coming to you to hear what Lil Yachty got to say. I'm not coming to you to hear what some random other person. I want to hear about you. And yes, even me as a writer who writes for other people, who has done it, big and small, corporations and local places, I can put your experience together. But you do not get to say that you're the best if you're not the person that's doing the work. A team, being a rapper and having a team means we put everything together and we're going to push this thing all the way to the top. But this is my experience and I have to say it in my language. You don't get to come and impose your language on me. You don't get to come and impose that on me. Once you start doing that, because it's a difference between, because I do have a thing where if we're both on the song, like if you're writing, they need to hear you on the song. So like you can throw me this line, I can throw you that line, but we're both writing this song together, but you need to be present. No ghosts, No hiding, no in the shadows, none of that. You have to be present. You need to be here. People need to hear you. People need to see you. You need to have a presence. Other than that, I don't need you here. I don't want a bunch of people in here with me. Not for my now. If I'm working on somebody else's shit, I don't care how many people write on it. But if you're talking about me and my work, you don't get to say. I remember somebody that I really like send me a DM when I put a freestyle up, like 30-second freestyle. You should change this. You don't get to make a suggestion about what I say. I said what I said because this is my voice. Rap is your voice. It is the voice of, lack of a better term, it is the voice for the street. It's the voice of the people. I don't need a random person telling me about an experience they don't know anything about. That's the purpose of this. That's the purpose of what hip hop is. So when people try to rewrite the rules and try to make it bend to whatever they want it to be, we cannot allow y'all to do that. So it can bend to what you think it should be, or it can be something that you want it to be, because the original definition is not fitting what you want it to be. He's terrified of this label because it's going to alienate him, because let's just be real. If there would be more white rappers, if people cared about their experience and could relate to it. And I'm talking about on the mainstream level, on the other level, everybody, we all exist on this level, in this plane, and we coexisting, and it's fine, and everybody got their situation. But it's harder for them to get up there. It's harder for them because nobody cares about that experience. Not in the mainstream. This is why I hate this example, because I really like this guy. But OG Mako could come out with Bitch You Guessed It. And that song wasn't about being lyrical. That song wasn't about being the best writer or nothing, but it was a cultural experience. There's a lot of things that people don't understand about just making music, and you can make good music and it be a good song, but it's not going to stick, and it's not going to land, and it's not going to stay there because it's nothing to stick to. I don't have nothing. Like, people tend to get into stuff that either they completely just enjoy, they want to live vicariously through, or they see themselves as. Like, wow, I just really enjoy this because it's creative. Wow, I'm really like that. I'm really out here, and I live in the same neighborhood as XYZ do. Oh man, this is just so creative. Like, people get into these things and be a part of these things because of that. Because it's, oh man, I heard the line in this song that I finally got my first car, and I just heard a line in this song. I'm gonna put this up. It's not ever really anything other than those things. You could be the best at what you do, but if it's not sticking with the people, you need to find and go be with your people. And I'm saying your people, like, go find and be with the people that is into that. The problem is, the white boy in music is not perceived as cool. And the coolest white boy in music is Paul Wall, and he's a regional person. Even though he's worldwide, but I'm saying that's a regional thing. You only pluck those type of people out of one spot. You don't get those. MGK is not perceived as cool. Not in this. No matter how many of them people, because if they tell you, oh man, who's cooler to you, Drake or Future? Oh man, Future the coolest, man. Future cool, bro. They don't even know why. They don't even have an explanation for you as to why they would believe that. But you alienating yourself, because people are gonna reject it once you're perceived as lame. I think that Lil Skies, if we talking about just being a mixed rapper, I thought out of all the SoundCloud people, Lil Skies was my favorite person to come out of that bunch. He's not the most successful, but he was my favorite, and I liked his music the most because he did what you were supposed to do. He told his story, he told his thing, but he came out in the wrong era. There's people who make music that the music is just terrible, but the lyrics are just terrible. The beat is good, but the music is fire when you put it together. Trinidad James, Argo, everything is the best example of that. Terrible, terrible lyrics, amazing beat. You put them together and the song is fire. And it's a cultural thing because I'm looking at it. It represents exactly what it's supposed to represent. He is exactly who he said he's supposed to be. And that is going to be more culturally accepted than somebody cosplaying a nigga. Because you don't get to just jump from this to jump to that, to jump to that, to jump to that. Yes, you can evolve. Yes, you can go. Yes, you can do these things. But in rap, in hip hop, this is, again, only specific to this genre. This does not happen in other genres. If the minute that you are not perceived as cool, you can't play with the you're not gonna be able to play with the urban because ain't nobody gonna be wanting into it. Now Drake is at a different level. He's a superstar, but again, like one of the biggest artists on the planet. But if we talk about rapping the honor, you don't get the you don't get that honor of being like, whatever. And now everybody, because you again are trying to impress Sexy Red, you have decided that I'm big enough where I can shoot at fools. You stole Kurt Cobain's whole style. You sound like every city you go to, you absorb the personality of everybody that you're around. And now that you have got to the point where you're too big to fail and you have everybody on the other side, they are pouring unlimited resources into you, because imagine how far a lot of people could be if they had unlimited resources being poured into them, because they can play both sides. Of course, you're too big, but the people that are under you, that are in the same situation, that can probably play both sides a little bit, they're not going to get the luxury of being able to play both sides, because the second that one side, either side, pick a side, sees that you're playing both sides, nobody's going to want to deal with you because it's considered fake. He's terrified of being labeled as a white boy because of that. It's not, oh, because he's this, he's that. Like, y'all can tell yourself what y'all want to tell yourself. I deal with enough personalities on a daily, just in my regular life. God knows what goes on when you deal with music, because you got to take on all the untreated mental illnesses of these people when you deal with them. Like, this is a culture thing, and this is why he's trying to avoid that. He want to stick to punk, like poking at people. There is no real consequence for poking at them. They'd already a side was picked for them before they can pick. Just like Meg said in her song, you cosplaying, you a fake gangster cosplaying, whoever's around, posting in other people's neighborhoods like a whole, like, that's really what that is. I don't know if I had a name, but yeah, like, I think I made a mention of this earlier, that you can't buy that. Like, that's the one thing that you can't buy. You can't buy culture. You can't buy being culture, because what you really is going to shine through every single time. So we'll wrap it up on that point. He's not going to be, the only reason that this is even really a thing is because he can play both sides, and people are going to idol worship and meat ride and dick hack as much as they can, because they're just casuals. This isn't really a thing to them. It's not really real to them. They don't have a vested interest in Rick Ross. They don't care about Metro Boomin. You probably don't even know what Metro Boomin's voice sound like. Does anybody know? On like the casual side, they don't know. They don't whatever with old Kendrick Lamar. And my thing is, it's very much an insult. A person who is writing, who has other people's music, like has other people writing for them, excuse me, it's very much an insult for a person who doesn't write. It's like, you write maybe 20% of your music for you to even talk to me when I'm doing all the work. Like, this isn't even a thing. You're only doing this, again, you're trying to impress that girl. You got a little chip on your shoulder. You're playing into this casual thing, sending people to Majesty. Like, this is just goof troop behavior. All of it is goof troop stuff. So I wouldn't take this serious if I was y'all. It is what it is. It's just the fact that I'm gonna be for real. I'm happy that people are banding together and say that we got to make this stuff real, because my thing is, shut up and rap if it's real. Shut up and do the work if it's real. You wouldn't even really be where you was at if it wasn't for you coming and meat hacking the people here in Virginia. Trey Songz, Nicholas F., all the people you hear that you rode to try to get to where you was at. Left all the, like, everywhere you go, you just absorb and keep it up, keep it moving. And that's that other side behavior. So this isn't serious to me. Like, I just wanted to speak on it in this regard and just speak on it at this length, because I don't really want to talk about it again. Like, the moment that, I expect a person that big, like I told you, once you get to that level, people are writing music for you for the most part. Like you're not ever gonna have to write another song again because you are a conglomerate, you are a machine, and people want to bend the rules and say this is that, but you don't get to call yourself the best. You're not in the top or nothing if you're not the person that's using their voice. So I will see y'all next time.
Nayimedward, $, nigga. Nayimedward.